Good evening, everybody. Oh, I got my phone. As you can see, the guy that left me, he already came crawling back. He's muted at the moment, so he can't really defend himself. Oh, let me mute that.
There
But
we
yeah,
go.
Mr. James Dockery Fishing is joining us this evening, and as soon as the show started, the dogs down the street decided to go ape crap and all that good stuff. But appreciate you all joining us anyways. As you can see, I'm outside tonight. It's a nice hot evening, and it's been dry, so I figure I need to get caught up on some lead making, and I'm not
There you
unmuting him.
go.
He muted himself, Avid. Um, but yeah, let's say hi to Mr. Avid and the weekend ditch pickler. Where's baby Chadwick James? Is baby
I was going to
Chadwick
say
James here
Chadwick
yet?
Williams should be born here pretty quick, shouldn't he?
Should be any time.
That's what I was
Uh,
thinking.
Papaw Ed, Jason Lamb, Ryan King. Ryan, I seen you text me, buddy. I'm using my phone, so I'm not able to text you back just now, but did see you text me. Country boy catfish and my beautiful wife Dee is in the house. She's literally in the
Oh,
house right
D.
over there. Let's see. Seen Mr. Maurice Cason was in here earlier. Bet he's still watching.
Yeah, two old vets. How's it going, bud?
Yeah, there's Mr. Vets. Rob, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, wasn't sure. Obviously, Dockery said last week he's got some stuff going on with his health and his classes and this and that. But he was able to grace us this evening with his presence. So I'm glad to have that. I
For
really want
the time being,
right.
because we
For,
do have some storms. The class I was going to be teaching tonight got canceled because of the storms and all that other good stuff. So I'm here
yeah,
to bug
well, I'm
you
glad to have
and
you here
interact
for
with you.
whatever time I got you, bro.
Yep. There's
Philip
Philip
Williams.
Williams, Pawpaw Ed. How's it going, bud?
There's that guy that's
Uncle
almost
Lou.
as short as you, hooks and hammocks.
That dude is shorter than me. He
It was
really and
close.
truly is.
It was close. We actually should have done them. After you and Lyle, we figured that out. We probably should have
Okay,
done
but
one,
next
but
time, listen, we need to do this the proper way next time. All right, both stand in the same spot. Use a tape measure on flat, hard ground and make sure
and
that Lyle's not
barefoot.
tippy toeing and barefoot. That's right.
Because I think the boots that you were wearing was making you even closer to Lyle. So that could have been.
Did you see the size of the shoe that he had on the heel on those damn things? They were
That,
like 4 inches tall.
oh, I don't know about that. 3.5 tops.
All
Mindy
right,
Hogan, and I seen Christina. We was just talking about you, wondering
that's right.
about our godson, Chadwick James, when the arrival will be. Yeah, well, I've claimed him as our godson now. Um,
That's right.
yeah, Green Machine, what's going on? Tried to watch as much as I could this morning with you guys on my way into work. So I didn't get to finish watching. So hopefully you guys had a good day out there. Oh, there's Mama Cindy Stokes. Man, now I'm hungry. What I don't know
Hi,
what it is. I
Cindy.
see her name, and I think those Cindy bonds.
That's
I think
right.
she needs to open up her own store. Uh, so like I said, I wasn't sure. James mentioned the other day he was going to try to make it tonight if he could, and he ended up eviction notice was given. I want him out. Christina
Now,
Dunnigan.
Chadwick James will come when he
That's
feels that his time is right.
that's right. If you haven't noticed, he's already going to be like his uncles. When he's ready,
Right.
it'll happen. Um, but yeah, I was driving home today, and I was like, you know what? It's been dry. I ain't got to worry about all my lead and everything being wet and all that kind of stuff. I think I might melt some lead on the show tonight, and set up for my ammo boxes in the boat are getting to be about half full, or I've lost some. So I figure why not?
Well,
So
so you guys that are watching, stick around. Chad may get popped by some hot steaming lead, and We'll find out exactly how he really feels about life here pretty quick.
Yeah. We might have to go back and edit out some words later on. Wait a minute, I don't edit
No,
stuff.
no. You
Uh,
just leave that alone.
so let's talk lead melting for a minute.
Ooh, let's do it.
Oh, did you see that smoke come up, guys?
Oh, I saw that. Is that part of that tar?
No, this is actually just regular lead. It was just it's popped out is when I
Steam.
dropped one of these
Oh,
old fingers in here. Um, Melting lead, one. Sorry, I forgot where I was at. Ventilated areas. That's what I was going to say. Ventilated areas because you don't want to be right over top of this like I am right now, and inhaling these lead fumes. So it's not. It, what was we talking about? Oh, lead fumes. So yeah, lead fumes are bad for you. They make you forget stuff, and you make. Yeah, yeah. What are we talking about? I'm just kidding.
maybe D should get a fan and kind of.
I'm just messing around. But really, if you want to melt lead, you do need to be in a good ventilated area outside, like I am, something like that. Water is not lead's friend, so you don't want to put water over top of it. And you sure as heck don't want to melt wet lead. Weekend angler lead fumes are good for you. That explains a lot.
That does.
Yes.
That really
But
does.
getting you a melting pot, you can get melting pots fairly cheap. I just have a small regular melting cup. I mean, you can
Is
get
that what
melting
you
pots.
use?
That's all I use.
Okay. I didn't know if you had the
Now you can, I
pour
mean,
and
yeah, now you can get the ones that you can pour and all that kind of stuff. Right now, all I have is the small one, and it works for me.
yeah.
Um, I make up to 10-ounce leads, so seems to work pretty good. You just melt more
See,
often.
I've actually got a smelter that I use. And I've got probably close to about 1,000 pounds of lead that I'm setting on.
Nice.
Haven't really used a lot of it this year, so but yeah, guys, just make sure when you are smelting lead that you're not sitting over your smelter, Chad. Um, because those fumes they'll get the best of you. There's Parker Pursuits,
Fins and Fines and
Sean
Sean
T
T
Outdoors.
Outdoors. Yeah, pebble lead. You can, but normally I'm not smart enough to pay attention when I've already got stuff melted. I bought about 100 pounds last year of lead from a scrapyard. Usually, people tell me you get it from like tire shops and stuff like that. And I've actually got a bucket of stuff that's off them tires. It's just too much work. I mean, some of the stuff that's in here, it's just all mixed with plastics and everything else. So the cleaner lead you can get, the better. I was showing Dockery this stuff that I got from the place last year. It's actually it's some kind of something off of rooftops where they put lead and stuff, but you can see you still got like tar and everything else on it. That was great.
Yep.
And you put that in your melting pot, and that stuff boils. And you're talking about extra fumes. The lead fumes are bad enough. That just makes it worse.
Yeah. No, but what we normally do is if we're I've got some guys that I know that work at a tire shop and they'll save up the lead and stuff like that. And I can get about a 5-gallon bucket of wheel weights for like $30. Uh and we'll wait until they've got about 4 or 5 of them, and then we'll go down and buy those, and then we'll just sit out there and and sort them all out. The problem is you've got to be careful because some of those have grease and oil and stuff like that on there. That stuff will also pop and it'll get the best of you in a heartbeat.
Yep. So I still haven't bought any new ones, but I've got free different style molds that I got from Do It Molds. I ordered directly from them. My local bait shop does carry them too. I'm waiting on them to get a couple that I told them I wanted. Never seen them get their order in yet for it. But I have bank sinkers, coin sinkers, no rolls. I'm looking to get some. Um, I want to get some split shot ones and yeah, cannonballs. That's the other ones I want.
Cannonballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've got close to 28 different molds that I use out there. Anywhere from the pinch weights to all the way up to egg sinkers, cannonballs. And it gets expensive, and it gets expensive quick. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
if you're actually doing a lot of fishing and stuff like that in heavy cover, and you lose, I mean, we all lose rigs. I don't care who we are. There's just
Oh
days
yeah.
there's no helping it. You are actually better off in the long run to buy whatever, if you can buy one of the ones that make multiple of different sizes and stuff like that. I've got some of those. I've got some that, will make just a whole roll of nothing but 3 and 4 ounce coin sinkers. So,
John
oh,
Patrick Jr., Lyle,
Squirrel.
The other couple other tools that you always want to, especially like if you're doing it the way I do it, take one of an old spoon because you're going to end up scraping off the top,
Yep.
of your lead pot and stuff like that. You want all that debris. I've seen people not do it, but then your chance of getting some of that debris down in it, it might mess
Right. Yeah.
might
And
mess.
if you're using an actual smelter with a lever to pour,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to want to make sure you flux it. You're going to want to make sure that you are straining off that top to get all that debris out of there. Just for the simple fact that, I mean, that stuff will get down in there and clog up your machine in a heartbeat.
D says, not your wife's good spoon. Oops. But yeah, and you don't want this down in your mold. It could, it might put debris right in the middle of your sinker and split your sinker, and you've wasted your time with it too. Especially like the bank sinkers that you don't want that in the eye part of it or something like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Now I already had this started up and I had it warmed up. Some people will use like a hot air gun to warm these up, or just set them on top of your melting pot for a couple minutes, and it'll warm up. It's not good to pour them cold because one, you're going to mess your first batch up if you do that anyway. But the bigger part is you stand a chance of warping your mold. You don't want that. So make sure you get warm them up. Tim Molina, what's going on, buddy?
And if you
Michael
are
Murillo.
making them, make sure that you're not overheating those molds too.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to cool down just a little bit. I've got some out there that we just got into a rhythm one time, and I actually burnt the handles up on them.
Did you really?
Those? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like the ones that I got. I mean, the paint's peeling on them already, but they're the wood handled ones. They're not,
Yeah, that's what we've got.
Yeah, they seem to be holding up pretty good.
Yeah,
What's
usually
up,
if we're making sinkers, we'll do up probably maybe 100 to 200 pounds at a time.
Yep.
Just so that we don't have to get back out there, because the more you're exposed to that lead and the fumes and all that stuff, you don't want that.
Huh? Oh yeah, you don't want that. Well, I just saw somebody else in here. John Boys, great outdoors exploring. What's going on, fellas? All right, I'm gonna pour me some lead, bro.
Do it.
Put it down here. All right, so we got our melting pot here. Now, this mold here, and here's another thing I would suggest too, that when you're doing your molds, this is a 2, 3, 4, and 5 ounce. I don't typically use the smaller ones, 2 and 3 ounce. I will make some up just in case I go to the like a lake or something like that, and I wanted to use them. But just because I don't use them, don't mean I shouldn't pour them. You should still pour all 4 of them. I always like to go
Now,
right
do
in there.
you spray yours
I do. I
before
don't.
you don't?
I've done that before. I've sprayed them out before, but I normally don't do that anymore. I haven't. Hold on the finger.
Say we usually spray something on for the hinges on the molds.
Oh yeah. But yeah. No, I haven't had too bad a luck. Like especially with if you get it warm and stuff. I've heard spraying it so they don't stick and that kind of stuff. I haven't had any issues with that doing it this way. So I've stopped spraying it out. Now the hinges and stuff, yeah, I can see that. Do it in just the
Yeah.
hinges, but
Well, that's what
normal.
we normally get stuck up on ours, and so that I mean, and we definitely. I mean, if you're going to make the investment into sinker molds and a smelter or a melting pot or whatever, you definitely want to take care of it as long as you can because it. I mean, it does get expensive, and
Oh,
like I said, it
absolutely.
gets expensive really quick.
Well, I mean, if you remember Dockery last year, what we were talking about, because you didn't believe me of how much the mold these 3 molds that I bought were, because
Oh
they
yeah,
and how much they had went up. It was like you used to be able to buy them for like what $20 a piece, 20 something dollars, something like that, and now
25,
they're like 50 to
25.
60,
Yeah.
$50 to $60 a piece. So,
Jeez.
um, yeah, then I just open them up. Pair of pliers here, pull them out. Now, if I grab this one, if I was going to use these 2 and 3 ounces, I'd cut this stuff off. Otherwise, I'll just put it right back in. It just the reason I grab these, make those is I want to keep that heat all the way through when I'm pouring these. Yeah, there we go. I'll just drop that back in, let them melt again. And either if you're not you're not smart like me, or you're probably smarter than me if you're wearing gloves. Not wearing gloves, don't grab. Make sure you don't grab these. Smart people like
Yeah.
me, after you've set over top of them this lead, sniffing it, you have a tendency to do stupid stuff like that, and they're very hot for quite a while.
Yeah.
They set
Well,
up really quick, but they will hold heat for
they
several minutes.
will. Yeah. When we're cleaning up our lead and stuff like that, we've got 2 ways of doing it. We'll either set up like just a small campfire and do it that way, or we
Yeah,
actually do. We have a homemade forge that'll. I mean, once it gets up and going, it'll melt. Pretty much anything. But we keep it turned down low to where we can do. We'll do a 5-gallon bucket of clean lead and run it through there. And then what we've done is we've gone through and bought cast iron wedges. Yep, that one right there that he's got in his hand. And what they usually use those for is for like cornbread and stuff like that. Well, Katie had it hanging up for decorations and she lost that battle. So I took it out to my shop and that's what I use those. And then I've got the ones to make the 1 pound ingots and the triangles that you can buy from any of your sporting goods stores and stuff like that.
going on, Patriot and Parker. I will never tell anybody I'm the sharpest tool in the shed. That's for sure. So now that I got a couple made here, I want to fill my pot up a little bit more. Ooh, that's sizzled.
Yep.
So yeah, this is really,
Uh,
once you clean your lead and stuff like that, you go from crap like this, and this is strips that I've used my saw on. I've cut them into strips so I could make melt them down easier, and then you get what James makes is these nice little inklets. That's what you call it, right? Inklets, ink, whatever,
ingots.
ingots.
Ingot. Yes.
Um, I didn't do this at all. This is not my creation. This is James Dockery.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, when we're pouring so much lead that we've got to have 4 or 5 different things to hold them off in. And like I said, you don't want to get the pan wet. You don't want to do anything like that. So your best bet is to just put it off to the side and let it cool down until they'll pop out. Oh, probably a minute and a half if you let them cool down just a little bit.
Now, when you do those, when you're melting all your leads down and cleaning them and stuff, now do you spray those pans and stuff out that you're using? Like, do you spray
No,
something on those, or you just do like what I'm talking?
no. I
I'm
just
old.
all I do is I dump the lead into the pots or the little ingots that we're wanting to make, and like I said, we'll set it off to the side. Either we're ladling it in, or if it gets low enough that we can actually handle it, we'll pick it up and pour it into the other holders. And after, like I said, about probably a minute, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. You still got to be careful because once in a while, I mean, those cast iron skillets, they'll heat up quick too. I mean, even your ingot trays and stuff like that will heat up.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't take long for them to pop out. So it's no different than using your mold that you're using to make your stickers with.
Old chilled lead shot for shotgun shells. I have
Yep.
not. I have not. You said you have?
Oh no, I have not. I was reading something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Pour a couple more.
There you go.
And that's the other thing with these is make sure you don't fill your lead pot like these here too full.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when you go to pour, you're going to have lead going everywhere because by the time you actually get it to where it should or needs to be to pour, you're going to have stuff all over the sides of your mold. You're going to have it, down the side of your arm, your legs, whatever. I'm smart like that too. I'm out here in shorts and a t-shirt, which is my
And
normal.
guys, if you're not right, and if you are doing this stuff in a shed or a garage or something like that, you've got to get even a good ventilation system in there. It is, I mean, wear a face shield or
That's
glasses,
all about it.
safety
Yeah,
glasses, something like that. It's not really worth, because if once that lead goes, to where it's starting to melt, any drop of water, and we're even talking a bead of sweat off your
yeah,
forehead drops down in there, it will explode. And when it does, it will go everywhere.
absolutely
There's
will.
Miss Betty Jean.
I've made the mistakes, and this is a table that I've actually built. It's two old like bar tables that I had, and they set out here, and the tabletops rotted off of them. So I actually ended up taking and pulling all the wood and the top of them off, and I used 2x6s and I made a tabletop out of it. And this is my work table outside, but there's slats in the middle of it where it's kind of, you know, like me, it's
Yeah.
uneven, right? And I've
And
made the mistake.
I
Do what?
noticed a couple of people up talking about muffin pans and stuff like that. And muffin
Yeah,
pans work really good.
yeah,
And you can pick them cheap up from, yard sales or secondhand shops, stuff like that. So there's Justin's fishing fetish. How's it going, buddy?
Talking about somebody that sniffed a lot of lead. There's Justin. But now with this table and stuff, talking about overfilling the pot and stuff like that, I've done it. And like I said, I wear shorts because I do this a lot of time, and it's hot because that's the only time it's ever freaking dry.
Right.
But splattered on your legs and stuff like that. Learn from people that are like me, telling you don't do this. Wear jeans, wear protective gear. Don't be like
Yep.
me. I think I saw Betty Jean in here too.
I already said hi to her. You weren't paying attention.
Was I pouring lead?
No, you were just standing there looking at the camera like you normally do. There you go. Just like that, right there.
Um, I typically, like I said, I need to get some more eyelets and stuff, but the 8 and 10 ounce molds are the ones that I use the most because I river fish a lot.
Yep.
What's going on, Palmetto? And who just said, oh, hey, Chad and Joe. Hello. Yeah, Catfish and Crabby just realized that we are here, James. What a
Yeah, I know.
jackwagon. Not sure if it's connected or not, but every time I pour lead in the shop and forget to turn on the exhaust fan, I get the urge to watch Fishing with Chad videos. I love you so much, you jerk. The way
They're
they treat me.
brutal on you tonight. I know, man. I think it's funny.
Appreciate you still being here, Mr. Elstan. Heating this other one up because, like I said, these 8 and 10 ounces are ones I'm getting low on the most. I don't use the bank sinkers as much as I thought I would. Even when I have to anchor up and stuff, I use these 8 and 10 ounce um, coin sinkers way more. So
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of molds out there that are the 24 ounce
wow,
molds, 20 ounce or 24 ounce sinkers. Um, and those are, you know, you go over to the Missouri River and you'll find places that you actually have to use those instead of stacking your weights up and adding
yeah,
5 or 6 of them on just to keep your weights down.
I don't say. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Like I said, we have times in the Ohio where doubling up 10 ounces is what you got to do. I mean it.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And
uh,
I've looked around and lead prices are going up. Sinker prices are definitely gone up if you can find them at all in your bait shops or supermarkets or whatever you're buying them from. That's hot.
still hot over here on this lead.
Yeah, that's hot. But yeah, I mean, so if you can
What?
find them,
I said we have to
calm down,
double up
Lyle.
on the
Calm
8 and 10
down.
ounce Lyle. I don't believe that Missouri has that much current. I think he's mistaken.
I'm gonna tell you something. Listen, and for anybody that has never fished the Missouri River, that is one river that will make you pucker from one end to the other. You get on that one, and those wing dikes, stuff like that, they get that current flowing through there. Oh, I mean it. You'll sink a boat in a heartbeat if you're not paying attention.
Oh, I can imagine. But Lyle doesn't, believe that we ever have any real current. Right, Mr. Stan? I am one of the nicest people ever. Welcome to the show, Lance. Appreciate you joining in. Now, these here are a little bit different. Like I said, these have the actual eyelets that you got to buy, these 8, 10 ounce coins.
Yep. Yeah.
Remember, your molds are going to be hot. So I'll show you how I do this. It's literally just all I do, if I can hold this right. Let me grab a hold of this. Is just lay this over like this. You don't need to touch this. When you close this down, it locks it into place. See that? Again, you don't have to touch the mold.
And you do have to be careful around those bolts and stuff like that if you're using pliers or whatever you're using. If you're because if you scratch that aluminum, it's going to leave a mark on that that mold,
Oh yeah,
it'll mess that mold or the sinkers up. So
that's a good point. But I mean, if you got 50, 60 bucks a pop to do whatever you want with it, you go right ahead.
yeah.
But that's kind of why they, with the holes and stuff, you're gonna have a tag on each sinker you make. That's what you grab. Don't grab at your sinker, around the sinker, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Justin, that's a big problem, with a lot of places is, I've gone into some shops and they want $75 for a 5 gallon bucket full, and it's like I'm not paying that because you can't use a good chunk of it because, like Chad said, it's either lead or steel or something like that
Yeah,
that they're using for you know.
yeah. I got lucky last year. Like I said, I started calling scrap yards, and not all scrap yards are going to tell you yeah. Um,
Yeah,
because a lot of them, they have deals to sell their lead or this kind of metal, that kind of metal to certain people. And um, this guy that I called last year, and he's like, I can't do it all the time, but you come over and see what we got. And he's like, minimum though. He's like, how much do you want? And I told him, I said, a minimum of 100 pounds. When he told me, he was going to charge $1, $1 a pound, I think is what it was. And I was like, that don't sound too bad to me, depending on what he's got. And I got like a probably about a 40-pound brick. I don't know what it was out of or what, but it was solid. It was already clean. It was like literally this big, and it was just pure copper,
pure.
or pure copper,
Yeah.
pure lead. And I was just like, this is awesome.
Some of the places and stuff like that, especially along the coast, you can divers belts. The older ones, I know they use lead in, like old sailboats for ballast and stuff like that in there. Those have tons of lead in them too. So
Really,
yeah, yep.
I wonder if
Some of
Lyle
the
has any of them really old ones back from the '20s and stuff. But yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Grab a hold of that tag end. You're gonna want to cut that anyways, so grab a hold of that when you're pulling these out.
Yeah, and if you're part of a cleanup crew or something like that has adopted a highway and stuff like that, you can find wheel weights just laying on the side of the road. So
Oh yeah, I bet you could. There's this is the one thing I hate about lead is it's not magnetic, and I can't use my magnet in the river to pull all this stuff that I've lost. Could you imagine if you could do that? How much money you'd save?
oh yeah.
Nope, drop that one.
But you're gonna burn yourself here in a second.
I've already have, but I'm not showing it too much.
You haven't cried about it?
Not too much. Like I said, the first two sinkers that I made out of the bank mold are still quite hot.
Yeah. And guys, there are some videos out there. I think Fishing and Stuff has some videos on making homemade molds for sinkers
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Um, if you can find the aluminum to do it and stuff like that, just like I said, biggest thing, be careful around this stuff. This stuff will bite you in a heartbeat, and it'll leave you in a lot of pain if it'll make you sick if you're not careful.
that it will. And like I said, making sure one of the two I think things you really got to watch is like that right there popping. There was something a little bit in there, but that's why you don't want to be super close to it. But where you have popped like this late, setting down, and then how full you get it when you're getting ready to pour your mold, because it can get well, one, it can pop all over you, but you can knock it off or pour it where it splatters all over your arm, leg, and stuff like that. And doctor, he's not kidding when he says this stuff is hot.
Yeah, and for Justin said that he's got a video on his channel where he makes the molds and stuff like that. It's a DIY for making molds. Yeah, and Cindy, that is true. I mean, and if you guys, and I know this is, kind of a long shot here because of the whole pandemic and everything, you can't even find respirators anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
used to be you could go to, like Harbor Freight or something like that, and you'd be able to find them there. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's hard to find. I mean, and like you said, even lead, trying to find lead can be pretty rough to get anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
it really can.
there's a lot more people making their own. And then you got companies that just buy thousands of pounds at a time.
Yep. And with the government regulations and stuff like that, lead is getting harder and harder to come by.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if I run across it or something like that, I've actually got it stored up. I just there's I like I said, I fish way too much and lose too much gear and stuff like that. I don't want to be without it. That's Twisted Fishing TV. That's right. A good Bach fan works well to pull the the fumes away from you or push the fumes away from you.
I mean, I haven't ever noticed that it done anything to me.
Yeah,
I've never noticed that lead does
we can
anything to
tell.
me. Here we go. Let's see. Roto metals. Roto metals if all else fails. Chad will. Whoa, it just jumped. Chad, will you be making crappie jig heads? I've actually thought about looking to see if that bait shop that I said, like I said, they've got all kinds down there, but they don't have any any of them for jigs right now. So,
And
but that
I've
is a
got the
smart
ones with
idea.
jigs, but that is a very time consuming ordeal, especially if you're not doing it on a mass production line or stuff. Like they've got the ones I've seen molds as some of these companies have for making jig heads and stuff like that, and they've got like 25 to 50 uh slots in there to where you could actually make that many at one time. But most of these jig heads and stuff like that, when you're coming on these molds, you're getting them in varying sizes unless you order one size specific that you're really that you use a lot of. But then you're having to place each and every single one of those hooks. You're having to
Yeah.
heat the molds up, wait for them to cool back down a little bit. Yeah, Josh, they could talk to the gun ranges and stuff like that, but a lot of the lead that is used at the or the bullets and stuff from there, they already have somebody that's speaking for that, and that's your reloaders and stuff like that because it's
Yeah.
actually a pure um, lead.
What I was going to say. Yeah, places around here, you're not going to find any that, unless you find them when some might right when they open or something, like
Right.
newer places. But most of your places are typically been around for quite a long time, and they've already got their client base that buys that kind of stuff. But it never hurts to check. I definitely wouldn't say don't go check because you never know.
Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
1,200 pounds of range lead last year. That would be awesome.
That would be. But most of the time, if you're buying lead and stuff like that, you're going to pay $1, if not a little bit more, for the lead. So
Yeah, right there. I just found one of my new bestest friends. What's up, Gadget? He gets it pretty much for free. He just has to get it, melt it down.
yeah,
Uh, I'd love, and I'm sure, I've got a lot of friends that do roofing and stuff like that. And I was telling you that most of that stuff that I've got's off roofs.
Yeah.
I probably need to reach
The
out to
sad
them.
thing is, right. The sad thing is the further north you go, you really don't run into them using lead on the newer houses and stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's all gone to just straight flashing. Um, like I said, with government regulations and stuff like that, you used to be able to get all types of lead pipes and stuff like that. And you can't really find them anymore as they're changing them out. A lot of these contractors, they already know what the value of that lead is.
Yeah.
So they're taking it and running it straight to the scrapyard, and they're making bank off of it. So
Hey, Tara, tell Roger and J Dog hello.
hey, Tara. Yeah, the dentist office and stuff like that. If they redo a hospital or something like that, you might be able to talk to them and get the lead out of what they use in their walls and stuff. But you know, again, most of the time they have to follow government regulations as to how they actually dispose of what they consider the hazardous material, which lead is. Gadget, I think it's right around $1 to $1.25. I mean, you can check online, and it should have the national average price for lead out there.
I looked down and saw it.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah,
That's
Betty
smoking.
Jean. Did it heat up too much?
It might have. Yeah. I'm going to let that cool down a little bit. Yeah, I definitely need to find me some more places to get some more lead. I mean, I've got a good stack here now, thanks to somebody special.
Well, I just actually wanted to see you burn yourself. This is why I
Right
gave
now,
you all
all
that
I'm doing
stuff.
is getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Okay.
There you go.
Told you I wouldn't do
Mark's
this.
needing a whole bunch of 5-ounce coin sinkers.
5 ounce.
Yeah.
I think my engine overheated. I'm gonna let it sit here for a few minutes.
There you go.
I don't even 5 ounce for the Fox. Are you serious? I can save those 2 ounces for you there, Mark. I can
I
maybe
got
save
some
some of those
three
for you.
quarter ounce. Well, I've just got some 3/4 ounce egg sinkers I can send to him.
That would work at the Fox.
Yeah. There's Christy Brown.
Hey, Chrissy Brown, my favorite Brown. Yeah, I'd like to get some bigger molds. For the most part, 10 ounces handles pretty well. There is times in the Ohio that it like I said, 16. Sometimes you got double the 10s to 20 ounce, and that'll hold. But again, it's nothing like the Missouri or anything like that. I'm not,
Right.
or the Mississippi. Um, but the Ohio does have some times where it can get really strong current, and it's you know upwards 4 or 5 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and that'll pull a lot of weight. You know, so granted, you're normally just
Yeah.
anchoring up when that happens, but
Ouch.
goofballs messaging here.
I have no idea. There's Uncle Josh. How you doing, bud?
Oh, now I got a picture of J Dog and
Uh-oh.
Tara out eating I think this is my
It's because
victory meal.
no. It's because it's their anniversary. So happy anniversary to J Dog and Tara.
Huh.
Since Chad
Their,
didn't say it,
I'm sorry, what is it?
their anniversary.
Oh, it's their anniversary. Happy
Yes.
anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Oh my God! Stop singing.
You started it. Now I'm singing. It's not the fumes.
You sure it's not the fumes?
It's not the fumes.
Yeah.
Not a puma. Um, no, I know that they were going out or meeting up today, and J Dog and Tara and the kids are going to Florida, if I'm not mistaken, here soon. So they're getting ready to go on a trip. So that sounds awesome. Betty and Dee can both bite me. Jerks. Oh, but yeah, you know, making your own net lead, I do like it a lot more. It saved me definitely a lot of money, especially if you fish a
Yeah.
lot. You use big sinkers. You think a 10-ounce sinker, it was, I think it was 14.9 cents an ounce last year, and it's continued to go up. So you think 15 cents an ounce, right? So that's $1.50 a sinker on them 10-ounce sinkers.
Yeah.
I've made probably 150 just in the last year.
Well, like I
Um,
said, when we do this, I mean, we'll we'll wait until we're pretty low on everything, and then we'll take a 1 day, and that's all we do, and then we won't touch any of the lead stuff for God, probably at least a month. Um, if Michael Morello's in here, he's the one that works for the battery company, correct?
yes.
He could probably chime in on this that even at the battery plants and stuff like that, you actually have to get tested for lead, lead content in your blood and stuff like that every so often. And if you get too high, you get benched for a while until it comes back down. So just, keep that in mind that,
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
yeah. Well, one of my sons used to work for one, and I'm not sure how often they tested them, but I think it was once a week. Uh, and if the lead content in their blood tested too high, then they got sent home. So
Really?
yeah,
Hmm. Pretty interesting. Um, yeah, Gadget. If I had a garage or you know a decent shed or a building or something to do this in, I would do all this in the wintertime on winter days where you can't, it's 2 degrees and you can't really do
yeah,
anything. Um, but I have to do this on my back patio, so I have to wait till dry, just at least dry days for a while before I can really do this.
yeah. And it does take a lot longer when when it's really cold out there, uh, for all your equipment to heat up and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But like I said, if there's any chance of rain or high humidity that you might be sweating and stuff like that, it's not worth it, guys. It's really not. I've got scars all up and down my arms from doing this stuff. Scraping it
Parker
all
has,
off, are you?
huh? I was trying to just see what Parker just said. Have to get tested for lead regularly in my line of work. Shame on muskrat.
Yeah. Or Stonefly jumped in here tonight.
Simon, what's going on?
Yes.
Uncle Josh.
Stonefly, it's definitely worth wearing the long sleeve even when it's 100 degrees out there if you're working with lead.
Woo! You want to cast outside, except for fall or spring is best. Do not cast volume. Oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't do this inside. Yeah, when I'm done, I'll take mine and I'll let everything cool, and then I put it in my storage room.
Yeah.
Not a whole
Well,
lot
like I
of
said,
gas. It's melting lead. I mean, melting lead.
we and I'll try to get a picture of it and put it up online what we use. But ours is an old house furnace type ordeal. It was an oil burner, furnace, and it's completely cast iron. And we can load it up with wood, and then we've got it to where we can force air into it. Um, and one of the holes on the top of the furnace is perfect for sitting about a 10-inch cast iron skillet. So it doesn't really take all that long once that heats up and you start forcing that air up in through there, that it'll heat that skillet up, and you've already got, big handfuls of lead that you're throwing in there, or will weights, whatever. Um, the problem is it's about 3.5, 4 feet up in the air. And of course, me being the size I am, it
Right.
takes quite a bit to lift that big, pot off there and put it down to where it's safe, to where you can actually scrape off the top scum of the pan and stuff like that. So
Right now I'm picturing like a Keebler elf up on a thing with
it's
the big
pretty
wood
much what it
with the
looks
big
like.
wooden spoon.
There's Mike Sampson's in the house.
Seen Ernie Brown.
Shut it, Josh.
What'd Josh say?
Nothing.
Go back and look.
Well, go back and look then.
Did
Hey,
you
Ernie
time him
Brown,
out?
how's it going, bud?
Did you time him
No,
out?
I haven't timed him out. I couldn't
Oh, okay.
time him out. I timed you out, though,
You did time me out, you jerk.
before the show even started.
Our buddy Sampy. Like it.
Yep. Make sure that you guys are subscribed, if you haven't already, to Panfish Nation. It is on right after we are. Who is their guest tonight?
Got something maybe?
Yeah, something. I apologize. I've been working outdoors all week, so I really haven't been spending a
No,
lot of time
no.
in the house.
Steve Corcoran. I'm not going to even say I'm going to pronounce that right. So his name's Steve. They will have a Steve on the Panfish Nation right after this. So,
There you go.
oh wow, I didn't
Make
even
sure you
realize
guys
we were
go over
almost
and
an hour already.
yep. We
Time
usually
flies
start
when
for
you're
about 5 minutes
sniffing lead.
before, so you guys have been warned. Get your highs and buys in now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna. Ooh, I need to quit leaning forward. It's starting to give me a headache. But yeah, um, baby. So updates. Baby Chadwick James should be here anytime. Panfish
Yep.
Nation right after us. July 17th, I will be destroying everybody in the summer pool party that the Weekend Angler is putting on. Muskrat
That's
Adventures
right.
has day 2 of the kids tournament this weekend. That was awesome to see all the kiddos out there this past Saturday. Showed us all how it's done, and I hope and pray these kids this weekend will do the catfish dance. Nobody else would do it for me. Tell Chad was busy. He was.
Hey, Mike Chavez.
I will say that Caitlin at least danced for us. I think it was the catfish dance, but it was made by Josh, so it wasn't right. You know how all his DIYs are usually messed up.
Yeah.
So you know what? I got some new content coming to your number there, Justin, about Gabby. The ones I sent you were just a start. I just haven't had time to do any more. It was the Jerry Parker chicken dance. So at least she did something. That was pretty fun to watch. So again, I'll go ahead and say thank you guys for watching tonight. Hopefully you guys at least learned a little bit too with what not to do.
And did you
I'm
see
proud.
that? We're about wrapped up with the show, and Mo Creek Fishing comes in.
Oh yeah, that's how he does us.
Oh yeah, I know, but
yeah.
So, and it's you know what we might want to wrap this up, dude, because I think I'm about to get kicked offline anyway. Because we've that massive storm I was talking about.
Yep,
it's about here. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gadget, I'm reading that. Thank you guys for sharing my music video. That's all right. Thank you guys for joining us. Still working on some guests in the upcoming weeks. I've got some messages out waiting on some people to say yes or no and maybe set some dates up. So maybe we'll have some fun with some cool, awesome folks that I have lined up. Besides that, James, I'm glad you made it in tonight, man.
Yep. And depending on how it goes, my class next week, I'm not sure of, and then I go in for that procedure. So I may or may not be here for that one, depending on how invasive it actually is. So
we'll play it week to week, and you always got you always got a spot in the bait shop. You know that. So good night. We'll see you all over at Panfish Nation. All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. We'll see you guys.